Hello, Walter.
Good evening.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another award-winning edition of the Locker Room Chat. My name is John Williams, and joined by my co-host, Walter Stair. And Walter, it's been a few months, but
yes, it has.
We were back.
Yes, we're back and ready to go. It's getting closer and closer to football time, and that gets my blood really going big time.
Sure is. And this is the Locker Room Chat, and you see the numbers there at the bottom of the screen. So give us a call if you have a question or a comment about any sports-related subjects coming up here the next few months, or looking back in a few months since we've been away. So, Walter, how you been?
Doing real good. Got back from vacation in early July, and actually just since then sort of on cruise control, and work a little bit here and work a little bit there, but not doing too much.
Right, and I had a vacation too. Just got back from the beach, so that was relaxing, and had to go back to work today, though.
Yeah, it makes you not want to do too much when you're on vacation. Just like, almost brain dead, I guess is the word.
I had to go back to work today.
That's not good.
No.
Back to reality.
Yeah, back to reality. That's what I said. But you got to work unless you can retire. But not quite there. Yeah, you are retired though.
I'm a little bit retired. I still do a little bit of work for my son, but I don't work full time. So,
Well, Walter, I guess it's been 2 months, about the middle of May, since we've been here, and a lot has happened in the sports world. Of course, sports never stops, and it seems like there's always something going on. And just looking back in these last 2 months, I'm going to ask you, what do you think the biggest story is, I guess you could say locally, in the last 2 months in the sports world?
I thought the fact that Tennessee did so well baseball-wise, and there was so much talk about them, in particular the last 2 years, but this year I was in physical therapy for my back and also my neck over the last few months, and every time I went in there, this one guy just kept on talking about Tennessee baseball and what time they play the next game, and I mean it was the same sort of intensity that they would talk about football, and it was quite amazing.
Yeah, certainly was. And sorry about your back. Hope you're feeling better.
Oh yeah, it's just been an ongoing struggle as you get older, so it's just one of those things.
The back's pretty delicate.
Yes.
But I agree with you. The Tennessee baseball, the season, the ball's just coming up short of a return trip to Omaha. For me, it was an incredible season. I was very disappointed the Vols did not make it back to Omaha. They lost to Notre Dame, in Game 3 of the Super Regional, a game they led 3-1 in the 7th inning, I believe, and gave up the lead there, and Notre Dame tacked on a few more runs. And the Vols, I think, ended up losing 6-3, something like that. But it's very disappointing for me as a Tennessee fan. I'm sure the players, I heard one of the players, Tennessee players, talking how disappointed they were. It took a couple, about a week probably before they got over it a little bit. But it was tough. But what an incredible season. Ranked number 1 most of the way.
Exactly.
I think then Tennessee ended up with like 59 wins, I believe, close to that 60 mark. But how would you label this season for the Vols and the baseball? Would you categorize it as a great season?
Oh yes, still a great season any way you look at it. Any team that ends up doing great can end up sort of peaking too early, and baseball is even more tricky than basketball as far as peaking is concerned. And all of a sudden, if a team can get really hot, anything can happen. I mean, baseball is a different sort of sport.
That's why I think baseball makes it the best sport out there. It's just anything can happen.
Oh yeah.
I was afraid of that coming in. With Tennessee being ranked number 1. about all season, and you got to get there and you got to win it, and it's tough to do.
And you keep on. You always have another team is jumping right after you harder than any other, because I mean you're number one. I mean they're coming after you every second.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned talked to you earlier today. You mentioned the Mississippi Rebels getting hot there at the right time, and
Oh yeah.
they had a losing record in the SEC.
Well, that blows my mind. I didn't even know that part. And
Went on to win the national championship. At the SEC is a pretty strong conference.
Oh, it certainly is.
Several teams ranked all year long. So I believe Mississippi was ranked number one coming in the preseason. They were picked to finish number one, and
my goodness.
but they almost didn't make the field of 64. They got in. They were their last team in. So
that is quite amazing.
yeah, it's quite amazing. But I was glad to see Mississippi win it. I think they defeated Oklahoma. So of course, you had the Oklahoma women winning the girls softball, and the Sooners almost made it a sweep.
Boy, that'd have been something.
Right. Didn't want to see that. So
No.
the SEC won it, so it's pulling for the Rebels. Another big story out there, I think it just happened the last week. This is the realignment of the Big Ten with the USC and UCLA leaving the Pac-12, going to the Big Ten.
Well, I know that some higher up people know more about it than I do money-wise, but I think these poor ball players having to go from the West Coast to up to Michigan, Ohio State, different places like that, I think that's going to be very hard on them to do that year in and year out, and playing all those teams like that in the different time zones, which I guess it can work both ways, but particularly those two teams that are from the far west and the Pacific time zone.
Right, and you're right about the money aspect. It's all about the money.
Exactly.
And in the Big Ten right now, I think projected to have more of a TV money deal than the SEC currently. But you hear a lot of things, that's gone on. But UCLA and USC, that's a good point. I heard a sports show the other day. The guy was talking about it's be like a culture shock for for USC and UCLA traveling to Big Ten country. How they going to play up there when it's cold, and Wisconsin or Indiana and Minnesota, Michigan.
I just don't think it'll go well for the ball players in particular, and I think that could mess them up. Which USC and UCLA are inconsistent, generally speaking. I mean, USC's not had a great team in quite some time, and UCLA has always been inconsistent to me.
Right. So what do you think about that? I mean, did you ever think you'd see those two schools in the Big Ten?
No, I thought, when I read it, I thought, am I reading this correctly? I mean, I didn't. Mm-hmm. But, it's, as you say, it's the almighty dollar, and they're going to try to possibly even get up to 24 teams, I heard at some point, which is absolutely ludicrous to me. But
right, yeah. Where's it going to start? I mean, where's it going to stop?
Exactly.
Right now they're at 16. 20. They're talking about adding teams, and not so distant future. There's a lot of backdoor deals, I think, being cut. Nobody's really saying anything. These schools, they're just keeping it quiet, and everybody's sort of fending for themselves right now.
I mean, I thought it was weird enough when Texas and Oklahoma's come to the SEC, let alone UCLA and USC. That's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, you had Texas and Oklahoma about this time last year, and you had the NIL, and then the transfer portal. Just a lot of major changes there in college football.
I wonder what they're going to do all these coaches have committed so many so-called recruiting violations. If it comes to this stuff, all becomes legal that you can do. Are they just going to expunge their record, or what are they going to do with it?
Well, I believe the NCAA seems to me is like on their way out,
Yes,
as
exactly.
far as a governing body. So I don't know how they're going to govern themselves. I don't know how that would be, but you're talking about coaches getting in trouble in the past
Exactly.
or whatever. And, look at Tennessee. They're still on the probation. Year and a half it's been going on, but they really are not on probation. They've not levied anything against them, really.
With the money in the McDonald's bags with our good buddy Pruitt, which I happened to see on my vacation, which I thought was quite bizarre. He was playing cards, so I guess he was trying to get some of his money back.
Yeah. Did you talk to him?
No, I didn't talk to him, but I was almost as close as you and I, maybe just a little ways over there from him, and I definitely knew it was him. I was just in shock the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And I guess you saw, I'll say what your wife told me, that somebody might go overboard tonight.
Exactly.
Right, so thought that was funny. So.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to your wife, Rhonda, for that. I like that. But Nick Saban came out the other day, and he thinks, he said he called it the mega conferences are here to stay, and I pretty much agree with that. You?
Oh, I do too. I am amazed. They're going to end up, like you say, 20 to 24 teams. I mean, I thought it was crazy when we got up to 14 in our conference, but that's only the beginning, it appears.
Yeah, and then you look at the Big 12, they added some teams coming in after Texas and Oklahoma left. They're still there, but they got 4 other teams coming in. Boise State, and I'm not sure who all they are. I can't really think right now, keep up with all of it. But the Big 12 looks like, there'll be a player in it. The big question, I guess, is the Pac-12, which is now the Pac-10 or Pac-8.
Seems like they're getting to the point that they don't know how to count. I mean, it's the Big 10, but it'll be about the Big 16 or whatever.
Right, yeah. That's what my wife asked me the other day. Well, they call them the Big 10. So I don't know.
That's pretty good.
But you think ACC, what's your thoughts on the ACC conference?
Well, I know.
Or the Pac-12, you think they will survive this? Or?
Well, the ACC probably will, but...
Well, how many mega conferences you think there'll be?
Well, I think the Southeastern Conference and the Big 10 will very much do it, and like you said, the Big 12, I would think that, but the ACC could go some entire conference when it's all said and done. I mean, I don't know, Georgia Tech was with us to 1962. You've got the Seminoles could possibly go to us, Clemson, possibly. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities.
I heard Clemson, Virginia, Miami, and North Carolina, maybe the next, could be 4 teams from the ACC come to the SEC.
My goodness.
But who knows, I mean, I don't know if the Pac-12 can survive.
I think that's going to be quite
USC
difficult.
and UCLA, but the way their ADs talk like they can, they could get some teams to fill that, but they won't be on par with the SEC or the Big 10. But they could still be a conference. But right now, currently the Pac-12, they're really not on par with the SEC anyway. I think Washington's the only team that's ever made it to the playoffs, and that was I'm not sure what year that was, 2016 or so.
Exactly.
But
I think the dollar, like the late start times on the West Coast, I think hinders some of the advertising money for the West Coast, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. I like the Pac-12 after dark, though. I'll stay up late and watch some football.
Oh, that's true.
It's always fun, but I'm sure there'll still be football out there. Just don't know how it's going to play out. You look at the other sports like basketball, baseball. Are they going to be? I guess those teams will be in those mega conferences too. But
and what's going to happen with Notre Dame? They keep on saying they're up in the air football-wise, but of course in the ACC otherwise. But
yeah, that seemed to be the player right there, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, to see what they're going to do and maybe the next domino to fall. Because they're not really in a conference right now. I know they play in basketball in the ACC, but as far as football, they're not in a conference. So if they're not in a conference and all these mega conferences come about, how they going to fit into that? I don't know.
That's going to be interesting. I think they've got a contract till 2025 with NBC, I guess it is, football-wise. But
I know UCLA and USC, they're saying 2024 they're going to be in the Big Ten. Well, Oklahoma and Texas is 2025. I've heard talk of them maybe moving up to the year 24 also, and so the Big Ten won't get a leg up on them then. But that's something to be worked out, I guess.
And they've been wondering whether the Southeast Conference will go to 9 games in the conference or not on that. I actually wish they would. I know it'd be harder on teams, but I don't like the way they end up having sometimes 3 light games. And, I think you ought to get your money's worth when you go to a ball game. But
yeah, you got SEC Media Days coming up next week, so maybe they'll talk a little bit about that. Yeah, I've heard the 8 or 9 games, and it seems like majority of coaches are for the 9 games.
Oh, yeah.
I believe, in the conference. So right now we're going to go ahead and take our first break, and we'll be right back. We'll talk some high school football and just high school sports in general, things that's happened over the last couple of months, and we'll recognize some schools and some athletes, and we'll look ahead to what's coming up here in the next few weeks. Only from this Friday, it's only 5 weeks away from high school football.
Now, we like that. August the 18th, the first game on a Thursday, which sounds wonderful to me.
August 18th, so it's here. So, and we're here, and we'll be right back. You're watching the Locker Room Chat.
Got a pain in your neck? Just turn that wreck into a check. Get the money you need, get the money you want. Call OEB Law.
You can pick anybody to help you with your motorcycle wreck, or you can choose the pros at OEB Law. Let us turn your motorcycle wreck into a check.
Got a pain in your neck? Just turn that wreck into a check. Get the money you need, get the money you want. Call OEB Law.
It's the best 6 days of summer. The Anderson County Fair, July 18th through the 23rd. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Kids 15 and under get in free. It's all the fun and rides that you love. Regular admission is only $5 nightly or a $20 season pass. Pay one price available for nightly rides Thursday and Friday. And don't miss the 14th annual truck pull, July 18th through the 23rd. Be there for the best 6 days of summer.
At Earl F. Subaru, we're more than a car dealer. We're a Subaru retailer and Tennessee's only 11-time winner of the Subaru Love Promise Award. We're proud to be active in supporting our community and have fostered partnerships with local charities such as CASA of the Tennessee Valley and the Roane County Animal Shelter. We're also committed to our customers, and our state-of-the-art facility in Kingston features expanded service capacity to provide the quality automotive care that you deserve.
2022 Subaru Outback models are available now at Earl Duff Subaru in Kingston or on the web at duffsubaru.com.
I'm Wayne Best. I'm running for Roane County Executive. I'm running for you, all of Roane Countyans, to make sure that your voice is heard, to make sure that your taxes stay as low as they possibly can, to make sure that your values are looked at, to make sure that the quality of life that we have is the best that it can be. So please vote and support me to be your next county executive. Wayne Best.
I'm Amanda, one of the RN shift leaders at Rome Medical Center. I love the sense of community that we have here. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced, and that's why I choose Rome Medical Center.
I choose Rome Medical Center because this is where my heart is. My family and friends use Rome Medical Center, and I want everyone that comes through our doors to have an experience that makes them as proud of Rome Medical Center as I am.
Find out why Roan Medical Center is the best choice for your future in healthcare. Learn more at roanmedicalcenter.com.
Welcome back into the locker room chat. My name is John Williams and joined by my co-host Walter Stair, and it's crazy times. Walter,
certainly is.
College football, and we could go on and on and on about it, but let's turn our attention to high school football.
Oh, yes.
That's our bread and butter, and 5 weeks away, as we mentioned right before the break. And phone lines are open. If you have a question or a comment, give us a call. But Walter, you got some information on some 7-on-7 coming up.
Right, I've got some of these teams, or you want me to go over the Knoxville Classic itself? I've got actually some of the different teams, some of the different things they're going to be doing through the period, or through July, I guess.
Well, just go ahead and start out with that 7-on, the Powell Classic over there.
Okay, certainly will.
I think it starts tomorrow, right?
It certainly does, July 14th and 15th, and it starts at 4:30 and runs till about 9:30. And you've got
any local teams?
Oh, very much so. You've got.
I mean, in their coverage area.
Well,
no Clinton's in it.
You've got Clinton and Powell, and I guess Gibbs probably plays Clinton. Campbell County is there also, but I don't guess anyone else. We've got teams out of Corbin, Kentucky, and Knoxville, Central Kentucky, and Oneida, and Bearden is also going to be there. So I mean, actually, some good representation from the area.
I think there's 12 teams, right?
Yeah, certainly is.
You have a Clinton scheduled tomorrow?
Yes, Clinton will play at 4:30. As they'll take on Unaka, and then they'll play at 5:30. They'll play on Knox County, Kentucky, and I think that is it. It's a 30-minute each time they play, 30 minutes. So.
A 30-minute game?
Yeah.
Okay. Will they also be playing, how long does this last? Does it go Friday, the weekend? Or?
It's a double elimination, so they'll play tomorrow and on Friday, and it'll be a double elimination, and they'll have teams that continue on Friday. So. Okay.
Haven't heard of any other teams in our, Tri-County area, Morgan, Roan, Anderson, what their schedule is like. They got some scrimmages lined up, jamborees and all that.
Right.
I know Anderson County, I think they had Bell County, Kentucky came up Monday, I believe it was, and they played a 7-on-7 there at Anderson County.
And then tomorrow they'll be playing Farragut.
Who AC is?
Yes.
Is that at Farragut?
It doesn't exactly specify, but right. And then they'll scrimmage July 29th against Stone Memorial, then August 5th against Kingsport Dobbins Bennett.
Well, this is Anderson County?
Yeah. So
they got Farragut. This is a 7-on-7?
Yeah, exactly, right.
When do they put the pads on? They got, their schedule for like scrimmages? Or?
I think they'll start that on August 1st, or it is in most years they'll start putting on the pads. So the August 5th game should be with pads, and also August 11th will be the prep jamboree. So.
And that's going to be at Carson Newman, right?
Yeah.
Or
yeah. Is it?
Yeah, Carson Newman, I know Knoxville's having the KOC. They're having theirs on the 11th as well.
Okay.
But I heard that Anderson County and Oak Ridge is going to play in that jamboree up in Carson Newman.
Oh, okay.
I've heard talk of that, but I don't know if that's official. I know Clinton, I saw where Clinton's going to scrimmage Greenville in the jamboree.
Oh, that'll be good. That'll get them a lot of...
So it'll It'll be a good test for the Dragons.
Oh, yes.
Certainly Greenville getting better, I think. I think they're the team to beat up there this year. I think they've surpassed Elizabeth, according to all the media types, but Greenville may be back on top up in that upper East Tennessee area.
Also on the 7-on-7, Coalfield, July 14th, they'll be taking on Rockwood, which is tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And then July 19th, Anderson County, they'll be taking them on at 10 a.m. on July the 19th. So, and then July 28th, they'll be taking on Kingston at 7 o'clock.
Who's that?
Coalfield.
Okay. So what's that schedule again for Coalfield?
July 14th tomorrow against Rockwood at 6 o'clock. July 19th, Anderson County at 10 a.m. Scrimmage, and then July 28th versus Kingston at 7 o'clock.
So Coalfield, it's got Rockwood, Anderson County, and Kingston.
Exactly.
7-on-7.
Right.
I know Clinton scrimmaged Coalfield earlier in the summer, maybe before it actually was summer, but late spring maybe they scrimmaged Coalfield and some 7-on-7, also Bearden as well. But that's pretty good. Some games right there for Coalfield.
And then you've got Oak Ridge, which will tomorrow take on Alcoa and Halls. And I don't know how that comes. I don't know if I wrote that down wrong. I don't know how you're going to actually take on both teams, but I guess you could in that sort of scrimmage. But
Oak Ridge and Alcoa
and Halls.
Okay, that'd be good. New coach Eric Scott Cummings at Oak Ridge. He just left Halls.
Exactly.
So, that'd be interesting.
And then July 18th, they'll take on William Blunt in a scrimmage, and then July 29th will be at Fulton.
Okay. Also think the Clinton Dragons, I think they're going to scrimmage. When they put the pads on, I think CAK, I heard they're in August. So, see about that.
Oh, yeah. And I heard also Brad gave me an explanation why Oliver Springs has 7 away games, which is going to make it hard on them. They're 7-on-7, July 22nd. They'll take on Sell Creek and then have Austin East in a scrimmage on August the 5th. And then they'll be taking on Wartburg, Jellicoe, and Tellico Plains in the Roane County Jamboree.
Who's that?
That'll be Oliver Springs.
Oh, okay. They got 7 away games?
Yeah. And 6 of them were because they had 6 home games last year, so they have to have 6 away games this year, and 1 had to do with the contract exchanged, so it ended up being not in their favor, in other words.
Well, next year they'll make it up on
Exactly.
7 home games. That'll be good for the purple and gold Bobcats, and they have a new coach, and I got a list of the coaches here, and let's look at them, Walter. Let's refresh our memories.
Exactly.
And, everybody out there watching on the head football coaches in our Tri-County area, and we have 4. I've got 4 new coaches out of our 12 schools. We got Oak Ridge, and they hired Scott Cummings from Halls, and pretty good hire there for
Oh, very much so.
the Wildcats. Cummings with the state championship at West High School. Also, Wartburg, they have hired Dustin Peels, and he was last year he was on Cummings' staff at Halls. He's also been at Sequoia and Lenoir City. So Wartburg hiring Dustin Peels. Talking about Oliver Springs, they have hired Tyler Harper. Tyler's been a guest on this show before. He was the head coach at Oliver Springs Middle School a couple of years ago. They had a really good team. I think last year he was on the staff there for Coach Coach Johnson, I believe, at Oliver Springs. And he's taken over the head coach there for the Bobcats. And also Midway has made a coaching change. Longtime coach Ron Treadway stepping away, and I believe Chris, I don't know how he pronounces his last name, Hladis. I don't know how you pronounce that. Hladis. I don't know much about him, and I don't know much about him at all. So maybe we'll have him on the show this year.
4 out of 12 teams. I mean, that's a third, 33 and a third of the coaches, 33 and a third %. That's quite a lot of coaching turnovers, and plus quite a few when you look at in our.
Justin O'Toole.
Justin
okay.
O'Toole. Oh, okay.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah, Justin O'Toole named the head coach at Midway. So go ahead and write that down. And what was you saying, Walter?
I lost my train of thought.
So Justin O'Toole, don't know much about him.
Oh yeah, I was talking about that. There's even in our immediate area, South Doyle and William Blunt and Heritage and Hardin Valley, all with new coaches. I think Beard's even got a new coach. I mean, there's a lot of turnover coaching-wise this year, seems like.
Certainly, and taking a look back at some of the returning coaches, we have 8 returning coaches. So going down the list here, Travis Tapp at Harriman. I think he's going into his 27th year. He's around that mark. He's been there quite a while at Harriman. Also at Rockwood, John Webb. I think this will be his 26th year.
My goodness.
Longtime coaches there, Travis Tapp and John Webb. At Kingston, you got Brian Pankey. He's been there. I think he's in double digits there for the Yellow Jackets. Anderson County, Davey Gillum. He's going into his 14th year for the Mavericks, and also getting an old assistant back for them, Tony Lambert.
I remember him.
Returning to the Anderson County staff. He bounced around a little bit. He'd been at Oneida and went to Cumberland, the Cumberlands up there and coached. And I read where he took the Catholic defensive coordinator job, until I think Gary Terry called him up and got him to come to Anderson County this year instead of Catholic. So he will be on the Maverick staff. That's Tony Lambert. So it was a good addition for the Mavericks there. Also, some other coaches, Darrell Keith at Clinton, going into his 3rd season. I know he's excited about the Dragons.
I think there's a lot of excitement in Clinton to really bring it up another notch. He brought it up a notch from the first year, and he's got them back in good frame of mind.
Yeah. Trying to get the Dragons back to the playoffs. I think it's been since 2015 since they've been in the playoffs. They was hoping to get in last year, but came up a little short. But we can talk about that later. Predictions. Coming up. But Darrell Keith at Clinton, 3rd year, he's back. Go down the list here. Benson Napier at Cofield. He's starting his 2nd year.
They're a solid football team. They've been quite impressive.
Yeah, certainly advanced to the quarterfinals last year, and I think the year before that, Coach Henry's last year, I think they got to the semifinals. But Napier came in last year, did an excellent job. Lost a close game in the playoffs there to Cloudland. They're at the very last, but I'm sure Cofield will be tough. Also, J.R. Voles at Oakdale. He led the Eagles to an 8-4 record last year, hosting a first-round playoff game, first time in the school history.
Oh, that's great.
So I think Oakdale was fairly young last year. I think, if I recall correctly, they got some kids coming back, so they'll be in the mix there in the hunt for that in the Class A. I think that about covers it. Look down at Sunbright. I've got Brian Hamby as the head coach. I think maybe going into his 4th year, so I'm not sure if that's official or not, but trying to find that out.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Hamby at Sunbright. But we'll go ahead and take another break, and we'll be right back to look at some achievements from some of the schools and athletes in our area, and we'll be right back. You're watching the Locker Room Chat.
Call OEB Law today and let us turn your motorcycle wreck into a check.
You got a pain in your neck, just turn that wreck into a check. Get the money you need, get the money you want. Call OEB Law. We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We buy it on the spot and we pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Herman and Rockwood.
It's the best 6 days of summer. The Anderson County Fair, July 18th through the 23rd. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Kids 15 and under get in free. It's all the fun and rides that you love. Regular admission is only $5 nightly or a $20 season pass. Pay one price available for nightly rides Thursday and Friday. And don't miss the 14th annual truck pull, July 18th through the 23rd. Be there for the best 6 days of summer.
At Earl F. Subaru, we're more than a car dealer. We're a Subaru retailer and Tennessee's only 11-time winner of the Subaru Love Promise Award. We're proud to be active in supporting our community and have fostered partnerships with local charities such as CASA of the Tennessee Valley and the Roane County Animal Shelter. We're also committed to our customers, and our state-of-the-art facility in Kingston features expanded service capacity to provide the quality automotive care that you deserve.
2022 Subaru Outback models are available now at Earl Duff Subaru in Kingston or on the web at duffsubaru.com.
I'm Wayne Best. I'm running for Roane County Executive. I'm running for you, all of Roane Countyans, to make sure that your voice is heard, to make sure that your taxes stay as low as they possibly can, to make sure that your values are looked at, to make sure that the quality of life that we have is the best that it can be. So please vote and support me to be your next county executive. Wayne Best.
I choose Roane Medical Center because this is where my heart is. My family and friends use Roane Medical Center, and I want everyone that comes through our doors to have an experience that makes them as proud of Roane Medical Center as I am. I'm Nancy Easter, Manager of Materials at Roane Medical Center, and I'm so happy to work for an employer that values me and makes me feel appreciated.
Find out why Roane Medical Center is the best choice for your future in healthcare. Learn more at roanemedicalcenter.com.
Call OEB Law today and let us turn your motorcycle wreck into a check.
You got a pain in your neck, just turn that wreck into a check. Get the money you need, get the money you want. Call OEB Law.
Welcome back into Locker Room Chat. And Walter, what you got? You got any news and notes?
Well, actually, there's one player, which I've not heard too many times, that you get that they want to sign you when you're a freshman. I don't even know what class that would be. A three-sport standout, Shavar Young, rising freshman at Webb School of Knoxville, played as an 8th grader on the varsity in football, basketball, and track. He's already had offers from Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, and Tulane. Most schools offering a signing as an athlete, wanting to see how he keeps evolving on each side of the ball, which I find that rather interesting. Not too many 8th graders play on the varsity team too often.
No, getting an offer already, that's pretty good for a freshman.
I've not seen that happen too often.
I know Clinton, I saw one of their incoming freshmen got an offer to Akron.
Really?
Maddox, his last name. His oldest brother is Barrett Maddox. You know, we had a big kid on. You know, he's getting all kinds of offers and coming in. So his younger brother, I want to say maybe Barron, might be Barron Maddox. He's a wide receiver, 6'3", 170 pounds. Already picked up an offer from Akron. So while we're talking about players signing, Gavin Noe for Anderson County committed to the Naval Academy.
I'm very glad for him. He's a hard-nosed, hard-working ball player.
Yeah, running back. Anderson County had almost 1,500 yards last year. So he's going to the Naval Academy. I think that's a great fit for that young man. And there's a lot of other kids out there. I think I saw Chase Glandon at Clinton. I think he's committed to Maryville College football. So congratulations to Chase Glandon at Clinton. I'm sure there's a lot of other kids out there that we not aware of. It's committed to some schools in college. But anybody can call in, let us know that. We'd certainly appreciate it. Let's look back, Walter, some things that's happened over the last couple of months here. We'll start with baseball, and I'd like to recognize some teams. You know, Cofield Yellow Jackets, they made it to the state tournament.
Oh, yeah. Coach
Andy Lau had the Yellow Jackets back in the state. It had been quite a while since they had been there. Ended up losing to the eventual state champion, Eagleville, I believe. I actually saw that game, but Cofield was in the state. They won the region champs. Also, Anderson County baseball team, they won the region and made it to the sub-state where they lost to Sullivan East, but they was right there. I think they lost 2-0 to Sullivan East, or they would have gone to the state. So, of course, Josh Boynton and his Mavericks, congratulations to them.
Oh, yeah, great year.
And I know the Clinton girls softball made it to the region tournament. I think it's the first time since I want to say mid-'80s since they made it to the region tournament.
My goodness.
And hats off to Clinton and Clinton girls there for making the region tournament. Ended up losing to Gibbs in the first round, 1-0.
Yeah, Gibbs always is somehow around in those tournaments.
And the coach, Gibbs, I went on. I think they were runner-up this year in the state. You know, man, their accolades is off the roof. You know,
oh, yeah.
I mean, just Carol Zachary there at Gibbs. Clinton went over there about upset the Eagles there. Lost 1-0, and Coach Leonard Sams at Clinton. So congratulations to Clinton girls softball. I know they're excited what they've got coming back and coming up from their middle school. Individually, Tennessee Sports Writers Association in baseball, their all-state team, Cole Hines, a junior at Cofield. He made the all-state team as an infielder. Also, Cole is a pitcher as well. And in 2A, from Kingston, a senior, Kane Collins, he made an all-state as an outfielder. I think Kane, if I remember correctly, we had him on the show. He was a quarterback in football for Kingston. I think he's going to East Tennessee State.
Okay. That's good.
To play baseball. And I know another kid from Anderson County, Luke Lowry, had on the show as well. He's going to East Tennessee State as well. But Cole Hines and Kane Collins named to the All-State Tennessee Sports Writers. Switching over to softball, I'd like to recognize Oliver Springs and Harriman girls for making the state tournament.
Oh yes.
Actually got to go down, saw them play in the spring fling. But the Lady Bobcats and the Lady Blue Devils. We didn't have either one of them on the show this year. I didn't realize Harriman was doing that well, but they were like 21-5,
Quite
like
impressive.
that, and both those teams, Oliver Springs as well, had a really good record, and they knocking on the door last year in the sub-state. This year they came back and made it, and ended up playing a team out of Huntland. The first game I saw, and they had a pitcher for Huntland. She's committed to Florida State.
I don't know where Huntland is.
Well, that's Johnny Major's old high school.
Down near Sewanee?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Johnny Major's, yeah. That's where he played at. So, but yeah, we recognize those two teams, Oliver Springs and Harriman in girls softball, making it to the state tournament. Individually, all-state for Tennessee Sports Writers. We had Megan Armstrong from Oliver Springs. She's a junior. She's an infielder. Also another infielder from Harriman, a senior, Lily Taylor, named All-State. And the catcher for Oliver Springs, Ella Hampton. She's a senior, and she made All-State, so for Oliver Springs. So and that girl, I've seen her play catcher, and she is something else. You've not seen a girl catch like this around here before, I don't think. I mean, I know Mackenzie Henderson in Anderson County also named in the 3A, named All-State as well. I mean, she's an outstanding catcher as well. But yeah, but Hampton, she's quite impressive. But as I just mentioned, Mackenzie Henderson from Anderson County made All-State as a senior for 3A, and she's going to East Tennessee State to continue her softball career. And also Leah Freeman, a senior for Anderson County, she made All-State as an outfielder. And she's going to Kennesaw State to play volleyball. So I know Freeman, she played her freshman year and took off 2 years and come back this year and really had an outstanding season for the Lady Mavericks. I think she led them in a lot of categories, and she could definitely play college softball if she wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
Looking over at track, Tennessee Sports Writers track All-State, also from Anderson County. In the discus, you had Kylie Alvis.
Oh, yes.
A relative of yours.
Yes, she is. Quite proud of her.
And Kylie made All-State in the discus. And she also she went to the state. She also qualified in the shot put as well. So she finished third in the discus and fifth in the shot put in the state. So congratulations to Kylie Alvis. She is a senior. She is going to LMU on a track scholarship. So it's a very well-rounded young lady.
You better believe it.
Also a sophomore named to the All-State team, Caitlin Fisher. As I mentioned, just a sophomore from Anderson County in the 3,200-meter run. And Caitlin finished third in the state in just a sophomore.
That's something else.
Also All-State here locally from Oak Ridge High School in the discus in 3A, Amelia Van Berkel for the Lady Wildcats, and she's a senior, so congratulations to her, named All-State. And individually, I'd like to recognize from Anderson County, the 4x800 girls team. They also qualified for the state. They finished second in the sectional, ended up fifth in the state, and they were, I believe they're sisters here, Macy and Marley Caldwell. Also Caitlin Fisher and Megan Hare. Those four young ladies there went to the state tournament in track, finishing fifth. So congratulations to the Lady Mavericks. And I think, I believe that's it right there, Walter. Recognize those individuals and those teams.
Also, switching gears back a little bit to that football 7-on-7, Rockwood will be 7-on-7 tomorrow at Coalfield, and scrimmage July 29th at Tennessee Tech. Also, August 5th, they'll be at Greenback. August 12th, the Jamboree at Kingston. So Rockwood's going to be busy in the next little bit. Wartburg 7-on-7, July 15th, which is Friday at Scott County. Scrimmage on August 5th versus Oliver Springs, Tellico Plains, and Jellicoe.
All right. I'm ready for them to put the pads on already.
Yes, I certainly am too.
But, 5 weeks away.
The 7-on-7 is intriguing. I've always wondered exactly how they came about, the 7-on-7, but that's probably a good way of doing things until you can put the pads on, because it's probably not good to have the pads on too soon because you get too many injuries or whatever.
Right, and it's awful hot out there, and I know TSSAA, they don't allow them to put the pads on. Did you say August 1st?
I think that's right.
So yeah, too hot to put the pads on. I know they've been putting the helmets on and shorts like that. Maybe they might. I don't think they're putting shoulder pads on yet until August 1st. But there's also other sports in the fall coming up. You got girls volleyball. Also, you got girls soccer, and you have golf as well, boys and girls golf. So I think that's the only fall sports. You got football, golf, soccer, and volleyball.
Okay.
I think that covers it of all the sports.
It seems like we've had some of all of them in here during that fall campaign. So,
Anderson County volleyball program, they've been to the state the last 2 years, made it to the finals last year, and be interested to see if they can get back to the volleyball state tournament.
Well, switching gears, what do you think about Tennessee coming up football-wise? Which I guess what is it, September 1st, the first game? I can't remember when the first game is. Is it on a Thursday?
Yes.
That's right, okay.
Ball State.
So it's before Labor Day, and that ought to be an interesting game. I just hope the Vols win at least 8 games. Some are trying to say they're going to win as many as 9 or 10, but I think some people are too overly optimistic. But
right, yeah, there's some key games there early. You got Pittsburgh and Florida. Pittsburgh won the ACC last year, and Florida's always been tough for the Vols to beat. Seemed like.
And I never have understood that. We've, we stack up with Florida, but it's just all mental. It seems like I don't really understand. It's like they try too hard.
But yeah, the Vols, I think it could definitely win 8, not get 9.
That's what I'm hoping.
You got some tough games. Alabama. You go to LSU. You got to go to Georgia. You got Alabama's at home, but.
Well, I think Georgia will probably not be as good, but they'll still win. I think the fact when you win your first title, except for people like Saban and Urban Meyer, which I don't like Urban Meyer, and I sort of have to respect Saban because of what he's done, but those guys know how to keep coming back to the well, but until Kirby Smart can show me, it seems like people let up after they win a national title. It's hard for them to get back, except people like Saban or an Urban Meyer, or years ago John McKay, and of course Bear Bryant. But there's just a small handful that have won more than one championship, and maybe I guess the guy at Clemson's won more than one, but
yeah, there's not many out there, I don't think. where Alabama and Clemson been dominating it pretty much, except Georgia breaking in there last year.
Oh, yeah.
Be interested to see what the Bulldogs can do. But
And I saw one thing on Facebook I thought was sort of funny. Somebody keeps chiming in and says that the Oregon Ducks are going to beat Georgia, and I'm just like, I don't really quite understand where they're coming up with that, but it just seems sort of crazy.
Was that game at Oregon?
You know, I honestly don't know, but I just sort of don't understand, which Oregon can be competitive, but, you know, Georgia's a very good football team.
Yeah, they've been stockpiling the talent too. Yeah, I think they'll be loaded again this year.
Oh, yeah. And another one is on Ohio State. Somebody's a great big Ohio State fan, but, you know, can't argue. Ohio State's not one of my favorite teams, but they are always quite good, unfortunately.
Walter, we got about 5 minutes left in the show, and we'll close it out with this. Well, first there's 50 days till Tennessee kicks off. I think 50 days, and
we like that.
And also going back to girls soccer, Kingston, like to mention them, they had an outstanding team last year in soccer. So with the Lady Yellow Jackets, I think they made it to the sub-state. So if they can get back there, maybe go to the state. But we've just got a few minutes left. Come across an article in the paper. 5 area teams set for a turnaround, and 2's in our area, Anderson County and Oak Ridge. They were picked to be teams to have a turnaround.
Well,
you know, AC went 6-6 last year, so they went undefeated in the region again. I think fifth straight year they've been undefeated in their region. You know, they was in that sort of a weaker region, I guess you can say, down in Chattanooga area, but last year they jumped up in the region up locally here, around here, and they still went undefeated. So
I think they'll win probably 3 more games for sure.
They still
what they did.
They got a tough schedule. I mean, you got Powell on there and Science Hill, and I think Elizabethton. So
oh well, Lord,
they're just playing.
Science Hill's pretty good, but
South Dole,
but like you said, Powell and Elizabeth, that's stout.
Yeah, Powell winning the state last year, and they return a lot on offense.
Yeah,
their quarterback, he's committed to Tennessee Tech, and they got those receivers, you know, D1 receivers. But you know, Anderson County's got Bryson Val. You know, they got Gavino, and they mentioned that Bryson Val had 2 3 stars right there. Players to watch. They said the defense is the biggest question mark for the Mavericks.
Well, they could probably win 2 or 3 more games, but like you said, they were undefeated in their own district, which is the most important thing. And Oak Ridge will probably be better, but I don't know if they'll be a super lot better, but they've got a whole lot of people coming back.
Yeah, they went 3-8 last year, and they got a new coach, and they made the playoffs, but only went 3-8. And Cummins is back. I think Oak Ridge will be much better, the record-wise. Cummins inheriting a talented roster. Got Elijah Rogers, a 3-star receiver, 3-star running back, Joe Hunley, and you got a 4-star receiver, Brandon Hayward. He's already garnered 6 Power 5 offers. So I think Tennessee's one of his offers. So
I hope he heads our way to the Volunteers.
Right. So I look for Oak Ridge to be better. Some other teams they mentioned Bearden, Knox Catholic, and Webb. So you know, Bearden's got the offensive coordinator from Powell last year taking over. So they'll be explosive. So that's going to do it here for the Locker Room Chat. For Walter Stair, for Chandler Jones in the back, I'm John Williams, and we'll see you next week on the Locker Room Chat.
Take care.